have technical problems.
This is
but
take 2 for her stuff.
So welcome to the second half of our giant, enormous whip parade. So I hope you're having fun. My stuff I kind of put in order. Most of these things I started within 2020. And then a few of them I've started since the beginning of this new year. So anyway, here's my first one. This is Isabella Fox by GiGiR. And this is a reproduction sampler. And I think the designer did take the colors from the back of the fabric. So it's quite a bit more vibrant than that.
So pretty.
I want to say this is Country Light Mocha. Don't depend on that, but it's one of the fabrics where the modeling is actually printed on the fabric as opposed to being overdyed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never
that's
seen that or heard of that.
So this one is almost done. I just have to do the Adam and Eve and a couple motifs. All right, and then this one is Sampler Petite number 2 by Brenda Gervais. And she has at least 2 of these collections where the pattern comes with 4 smalls in it. And I've just done one that's not, it's almost finished. I have to do the Adam and Eve on this one too. And this is overdyed cottons. And then the next one I have is, by BarbaraAna. And this one is called Polly Kirby. And it's just a real cute little folky, but she designed this. This isn't a reproduction. And some of this I've done in DMC and some of it is overdyed.
Oh, cool.
And I did check because I was thinking maybe I hadn't done anything on this since our last pre-pandemic video in April, but I have added a few things to it. Yeah. So, and then the linen that this is on is called Mallow, and it's a linen cotton blend, I think. And I was telling Janet I've got kind of a love-hate relationship with it, so I don't know if I really enjoy it that much, but I was kind of going for the color on this one.
It's pretty.
And this is just a real charming, the motifs are really cute. So they
are cute. I would have thought that was a reproduction. You said that's not. She made her own sampler. I love it.
She really has a range of designs, you know. A lot of her stuff is like ultra whimsical, and some of it is kind of looks like it could be antique. You know, it's a range. It's interesting.
Very talented.
Yeah, she really is. Okay, and then this one is Marianne March. This came out last spring, and I was like totally obsessed with stitching this, so I got this right away.
And that's by who? Kathy Barrick?
This is by Kathy Barrick.
Yeah.
And then I think I told this story already, so I won't go into it, but I ended up doing it over 1.
It's amazing.
Which is was really fun.
I don't know how she does it. I would get a migraine.
Well, I do it with magnification.
Yes.
So speaking of which...
Oh yes, let's show you these.
Okay, so a lot of people use these headlamp things, and there's a couple components to it. It's got an LED light that's pretty bright. You could use it for the way my vision is. I could use it in a dark room a little bit, but you know, you'd still want an overhead light on. And then it's got the light actually tilts up and down, so you can pinpoint it on your fabric.
That's nice.
And then they all come with sets of 5 different thicknesses of magnifiers, so you can choose the one that's right for you, which is nice. Now, this is my 3rd set. They always break, and they break right here on the temple, which is impossible to repair. It won't hold, you know, the weight of the front end of it after it's broken. But so they're only $20, so I just bought a few pairs.
You just go through them and buy them, right?
Yep. And then the improvement on this one is that the battery's rechargeable instead of having to use heavy duty
That's nice.
AA batteries, which weigh it down even more. This is quite a bit lighter than the previous
That's
versions.
Nice. Yeah.
And then it does come with temples, like you can wear them as eyeglasses. But this time I tried to use the head strap, and although it looks totally ridiculous, that really works well for me. And so I pretty much use this every time I stitch, so it's really an essential tool for me. I'm 54. I used to have perfect vision. You know, it started going south in my 40s, and now I feel like you can't see anything else. So
I'm in my late 40s, and that's what I feel. But these are really common. I mean, popular. I've seen it so good.
I mean, it's a great tool.
Good review of that.
The thing is, I know there's better magnifiers and lighting and everything, but the benefit to this is it's very inexpensive and it's totally portable.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a designated stitching spot in your house, like some people do, but if you don't, this is a good solution. So, and if your eyesight hasn't gone yet, you know,
be
enjoy
thankful.
it.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
All right, so the next one, this is my big ass project for the year. I saw this online. I can't remember who first showed it. Okay, we're back for
take 3.
Yeah.
Technical difficulty day.
After this one, we're quitting.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm kind of halfway through my projects. Actually, not even half. And okay, so this one I started last spring or summer. This one is called Sara Wilson, and it's by the Scarlet Letter. It's an older chart. It's, I think, from 2000. But I was able to find it, I think, on Kitten Stitcher. And anyway, it's profuse with floral motifs, as you can see, which really appealed to me. It's not everybody's cup of tea, I'm sure, but I loved it. And then this is actually the front of the chart. And
here, do you want to show them side by side?
Sure.
You can show the difference.
It's a lot more of a stark contrast between the color of the vine and the background fabric. And I'm not totally clear what the antique looked like that this is based on. I think this is the reproduction.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, I fell in love with this picture, the more yellow one, and I wanted to try and see if I could recreate that. And so I've kept almost all the colors the same, you know, by this photo. And I don't know if this is somebody else's version of it.
Color conversion.
Or it's a photo of the antique. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one is mine. I think this is on XG Design, maybe Old Sheep. And I love the color. There were a couple times I thought maybe it was a little too peachy, orangey, but I'm actually really happy with it. This rose is one of the more recent things that I've done, and it's kind of outlined in cross stitch and filled in with satin stitch. And there's one on each side. It's, you know, semi-symmetrical. It's pretty symmetrical. And I'm trying to make both of the roses kind of more similar. And then this is something else I've been working on recently, which is the center divider. And it's strawberries and daffodils, which is cute. And then this is part of the bottom of the piece. And the lady here is very kooky. She's a broom peddler. And I'm going to do her face in over 1, which is why it looks the way it does right now. I just have to find a good design to use, I guess. And the description, I think that Marcia, who's Scarlet Letter, that she wrote, which I thought was so funny, is she says, "What is most curious about it are the 2 roughly dressed female figures towering over the house and trees, brandishing brooms." That just cracked me up. So I had thought about making them smaller at least shorter than the house, but I ended up keeping them large. And then there's a few motifs that I'm taking out and some that I'm changing in a minor way. But the main difference with mine, as opposed to the original one, is I regularized the border. So instead of being different on all four corners, I made it so that it's going to be the same on all four sides, and then it will end up being more square. So I'm cutting part of the design out because of that. So, and then I guess what I did was I flipped these so they were more mirror image instead of in order like that. So I have the carnations facing down in every hump, and I have a pair of this motif facing each other and a pair of this motif facing each other. Okay. So, you know, at a glance you wouldn't notice that it's, you know, different because all the pieces are still there, but they're just in a different
It's because formation. She's so talented that she makes her changes so seamless that you would never know. She's so talented. No, that's what I'm saying, and that's what the truth is. She's too humble. She's too humble.
Well, you know,
I don't change up anything. Not colors, not motifs. You're very talented.
I wish I didn't. It's a sickness.
An addiction,
it
right?
It would make things easier if I didn't change everything. Because I usually end up regretting some things. So anyway, the next one is Prairie Schooler, and it's Old World Santas #2. And I think I did both of these this summer. And I really wanted, you know, something I could start and finish in a few days. Cute. And actually, I think each one took me 3 days, so they weren't that fast.
Well, it's a lot of stitching. I mean, their full coverage for the Santa part.
I guess you're right about that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I think when I put this one on Instagram, I was like, you just think, you know, 40 by 60-ish is so tiny.
Right.
Especially like after the last one. That's, you know, this one is it's almost 500 by 500. Yeah. And I didn't realize how big Sara Wilson was before I got it, because there was no stitch count available. So in comparison, something like this seems like nothing, but it actually did take a couple days a piece to finish these.
Beautiful.
So,
that's my favorite. Yeah. I love that.
And then it's a little tribute to John Lewis, who died while I was finishing one of these. People have been, you know, more conscientious about not having all the skin tones Caucasian and having a little more diversity. And so I like a Santa who's not a Caucasian. So I gave him, you know, some different skin tone, and I really like how it turned out.
Yeah, that looks great.
And let's see. The next one is from this magazine. This is an oldie from a thrift store, and I just love that sampler. And I tried really hard to figure out what it said. I never could figure it out, and Janet said she can't figure it out either. So
very weird font.
Yes, but then I just tried to match the fabric, which I think I got pretty close.
Yeah.
And I love the color of the thread, so I used those in overdyes. I think the original calls for DMC probably. And then I'm just putting a different phrase in here, and I can't remember the whole thing, so I'm not even gonna go over it right now. But it was by Sara Grimke, who was an advocate from the old days. An activist, and it was a quote that I think is misattributed to Ruth Bader Ginsburg quite a bit. So when she passed away, that was my tribute to her.
It was your homage to her.
Yes, it was an homage.
Beautiful.
See, that's perfect French pronunciation.
Oh, I can say one word in French. Homage.
Oh, there's another.
All right, it's still
going. Okay. So the next one is called Autumn Alphabet, and this one is by Willow Hill Samplings.
I love that.
Yeah, and you can guess that I did this in the fall. So,
I love the pumpkins, the colors. It's a unique colors for pumpkins, and it's gorgeous. Yeah. That blue, gorgeous. gorgeous.
And I think the way she photographed it, the colors looked different than what I thought they were. And so I really tried to kind of match the photograph, one of the photographs that she has up with it. But about the same time, I found an old photograph of my grandfather, and he is standing behind a stack of 3 pumpkins with cats crawling on top of the pumpkins, which I thought was amazing.
Serendipity.
I know.
I love that.
So I put that on Instagram. Okay, the next thing is by BarbaraAna.
I love this.
And this is... oh, this was from a, what'd you say it was? A stitch-along sale?
A stitch, like a mystery sale. So they come out like each month or each week or whatever.
And these are different tiers of the design from Christmas cake. So this was the top of the cake, and this was the second tier and the third tier.
Oh,
and I just decided to separate them and finish them as ornaments, because I'm an ornament.
That's a great ornament.
Mad woman. And this one is hers also, but it was from...
Punch, Needle, and Primitive Stitching Magazine.
Yeah. And the colors were, you know, like a fall palette, so I just made them all the same Christmassy palette.
Love that. Will you make the bigger one into an ornament too?
I don't know, it's kind of big, isn't it?
It is. It's a little big for an ornament, but I love it. That's also one of my favorites. I love all your Christmassy stuff.
Thank you. Maybe I'll frame it. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is another kind of small one. This is from another old chart. This one's called Barrett House. And I don't really understand the context of it, but anyway, the one I'm doing is this one.
Who's it by?
It just says,
it does
say Janie Jones.
Janie Jones.
See, I just kind of blank that out because that's my pen name sometimes. And this is where I've gotten so far. Pretty much all that I need to do is finish the words and I think one motif.
I love the squirrel.
And
he's too cute.
I
love squirrels. So, and inside joke with my husband. See, I should do just the little squirrel.
Yeah, it's a cutie.
He's a cute one. His puffy tail.
So I changed the colors a little, and I don't know. I had a problem with one of the colors that I changed, like usual.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, now this one is kind of grabbed me by the lapels when I first saw it. I just thought it was so beautiful. I think it's an older chart also. It's Ann Taylor by Heartstring Samplery. And I don't think it's a reproduction. I think she designed it, you know, based on reproductions. But I think I'm like, I'm not quite half done with that.
Love it. What fabric size? What fabric are you stitching it on? Do you know?
Well, I know it's 40 count.
It's a 40 count. And you're stitching 1/1.
No, it's not.
You're not?
Mm-mm. No, it's a 1/2.
Okay. Wow. The stitches just look so tiny to me. But I guess 1/2 on 40 count is tiny. It just looks so exquisite. I love when the stitching is just so small. And so I feel like it looks more detailed. Look at that.
I think
gorgeous.
Part of it might be that some of these are NPI. And the way that silk is manufactured it's more like single strand grouped together with other single strands instead of a lot more of chopped up silk fibers put together.
So interesting that it's silk, because I'm not familiar with silk, so maybe that's what's jumping out at me, that it's silk.
Because they're kind of more well defined, not as fuzzy.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't explain that in, you know, professional terms.
Technical terms. I understood what you meant. They'll understand what you mean.
I'll just be happy if this is recording right now.
Yes.
This is another one that I've been kind of doinking around with for years. This is a heartstring samplery pattern too, and it's called 3 Little Proverbs, and she included 3 different little sampler designs in the same pattern. And then I am just kind of doing a mashup of Beth twist motifs in here.
Oh, that's cute.
And, you know, a couple of them are mine, I guess, but most of them are from Beth. And this is silk and it's on an old Weeks Dye Works linen.
Which do you like better, silks or just fancy floss like Gast or silks? You like silks?
Yes. Silk is a total pleasure to work with. The whole thing is just like a sensory delight. What can I say?
I'll have to try
silk
sometime. No, that's why I asked. I'll have to try silk sometime. Yeah. It's beautiful. I notice how special it is.
Yeah, I love it. And you know, it is crumply when you're using it, and I stitch with a hoop. Can you grab me one of those? I use, you know, old ones that I've gotten at
classic
thrift
hoops.
Stores or whatever, and they work very well for me. And it kind of adds to the illusion that I'm not in 2021 while I'm sewing, which is kind of nice.
Doing primitive stitching with a primitive hoop. Yes. I love that.
So, but anyway, with regard to the hoop, you know, when you first take it out of the hoop and you're using linen, there will be a ring, but as soon as you move the hoop and you handle it for a couple more days, you can't even see where the
where it irons it out by itself.
Yeah, I don't know what the science of that is, but anyway, this one is from Plum Street Samplers, and it's called Nantucket Girl, and I forget the history of it, but I think it's based on something that a person actually wrote, a woman actually wrote this little ditty. And I'll just read the first one. Then I'll haste to wed a sailor and send him off to sea, for a life of independence is the pleasant life for me. And the rest of it is just that sassy. So
I love it.
I love it. And I kind of sort of, you know, the colors are pretty similar that I'm doing to the original, or to the chart. This is, I think, Weeks Straw, maybe. And I'm using silk on this as well. And then,
do you want something behind it? I feel like because of the window, there we go.
Well, and that's the thing. It's really thin fabric.
It's thin fabric. There you go.
Thank you.
Oh.
And then this piece of linen has already had a mishap, and I'm really rolling the dice continuing to stitch on it because...
What was the mishap? I can't see any mishap.
My son...
This has a story.
He doesn't like, lettuce and tomato on his, cheeseburger, so he is in the habit of, he's extremely funny, so he does it as a joke, but anyway, he takes it and he throws it at me, like, to land on my plate. Except the day that he was doing that, I had this out on the table, which I never do. I'm always very careful because
putting it away.
He is a major destructive force. And so it landed right on this linen.
No.
And it took every ounce of whatever I had not to lose it.
Yeah.
But
it looks great.
He was just doing his thing, so
he was being funny.
But I did wash it out, and you're not really even supposed to wash silk, I don't think, but it looks okay.
It looks good to me. I would have never known.
It did leave a discoloration in the fabric.
Did it? I didn't even notice.
So I just have to decide if, with the style of thing that it is, or how much of it's going to get covered up by the stitching, and go from there. Oh my God, okay. The other thing I was going to say about that was I got that linen, and I won't say where it was from, but it was so filthy. You could tell it had been on or near a floor in a closet for a few years. Ooh. And so when I washed it out, I was like, I really needed to wash this thing because...
Yeah, it was good that you washed it.
Yeah.
See, he was doing you a favor.
Yeah. It was serendipity. Yes. Okay, so the next one is Anne Morison. It's a circa 1830. And this is a Hands Across the Sea Designs chart. And I've been following the company for a while, but I haven't ever actually bought one of the charts before. And they're very interesting to me because I'm a genealogy person. And she does reproduction, almost all reproductions, and she researches the stitcher in quite a bit of depth, and her booklets have a whole like history in the front.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so that's I really neat. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's neat.
And this is a huge stitch along. I'm sure well over 1,000 people are doing this, and I think it's sold out way beyond their expectations. So it was a little hard to get the materials during the pandemic, and
it was very hard to get, especially on popular ones like that, where thousands of people are stitching it.
And I don't think they were expecting the response they got. But anyway, this is it. I'm a little more than halfway done with it.
So pretty.
And on this one, I have changed the colors quite a bit, but again, it's still kind of the same, feel to the original. And I'm doing this one in silk too. And I've got a couple things that I have to fix on the top half, like some color combinations that once I actually put them together, I was like, oh no. But most of it that I've stitched, I'm done with. And then this is my hats portion of the show. This one is from Anton Uffendell, which is a hats sampler.
What's a hat sampler?
Hands Across the Sea.
Oh, Hands Across the Sea.
Yeah, it's just an acronym for that.
Yep.
And then she put out these greeting cards, and the greeting cards have freebie charts on the back, and she just did a single motif or a couple little small motifs, but it's not a really
small. That's not a small motif.
80 by 90 or 80 by 100.
It's very cute.
But this is sort of like the centerpiece of the whole thing, so it's really cool that she put this out in a chart.
Okay. Yes.
And then I did it first on this fabric, and then I can't remember what the problem was, and I started it over on this fabric and got a little further. And I did this while I was waiting for something. So then once I got the thing I was waiting for, I set it aside. And I don't know that I would ever do the whole thing.
I was just going to ask you, would you ever try doing the whole thing? But I love that motif.
It's beautiful.
It is really pretty.
And the interesting thing about this, if you're not familiar with it, is there were two sisters charts, and I guess she sold them in the same book. One's cool. On the front end and one's on the back end or something. So, and they're similar. They had the same teacher probably, and they're different, but they go together.
That's neat.
So yeah.
Very cool.
And then this is another little one that I started. If you've been around a while, you probably recognize the name Mary Beale. And this is one of hers. It's kind of like medieval style angel motif. And so I started, there's 7 of them that come in the pattern that you purchase. It's very inexpensive to purchase it online from her, and this is one of them. I started that.
Very cute.
And then this spring I did another little Brenda Gervais thing. She has a set that's in pink, a red, and one that's in blue, and this is the red one. And geniusly, she had this sampler alphabet fabric printed, which I fully advocate for her to make more of that in lots of different colorways and different kinds of fabric.
Yeah.
Because we, as a community, would gobble that up, I think. But anyway,
these are so cute.
I did finish the stitching on this one, and I just changed a couple little things, like the position of some of the stuff in the sky, and I think this one I made it look a little bit more like a flower. And then I stitched it into an egg. I actually tried to finish it, and it was sideways, like it was tilted. So I'm like, I know better than to just try to eyeball it. I didn't center it right. So
that one's in an egg.
Yeah, this is this one. You can tell I used the template on.
When in doubt, follow the directions, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my motto.
So anyway, those are finished, but not fully finished, right?
Yeah. Very cute.
What are the odds that this is still recording, do you think?
Should we stop?
Even though it says it is.
How about we pause and we
let's
check?
Pause. Welcome back again. We took a little pause just to make sure it was recording. So now you have my dog barking outside and the lawnmower, so enjoy.
Real life, right? Yes. Real life.
This one I have been salivating over for quite a while. It's just, like a bouquet. And it's pretty. Called Last Rose of Summer, and it's in the book Ooh La La by yes. Blackbird. And I'm kind of cheap, and so I waited a long time to get this before I
Can I look at that?
Finally, oh yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
I'm not a primitive stitcher, but I have looked at Ooh La La online, and it's so cute.
So this one I've already started twice. This is the first one, and I think with the overdyed thread that I was using, it just looks so different than the picture. And there's a lot of gradations of color in this, so you really have to be on the money, I think, with the color, or it won't look right. So I just started it again, and I think it's a little closer to the way it looks in the picture now.
Yeah, I think it definitely looks like the picture.
So, and then this is actually on 46.
Oh.
So it's a little more of a challenge than 40.
I've heard that it goes up to like 50 count, right?
56, 60.
Okay, that's cray.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just, I shouldn't use crazy. That's
it's okay.
Not respectful,
It's okay.
but that's intense. I don't think I could do even 46 count. I'm impressed.
We've had a little bit of a controversy with this because the tag says 46 count light hazelnut, and I thought it was X2 design. I've had 2 people tell me it is, but when I went online and tried to buy more of it, the color looked totally different. So there might be more than one dyer that's using that name light hazelnut, maybe, or maybe I just looked at the wrong one.
Well, sometimes, do you ever find this? Sometimes online colors look so different, and then I get it, and I'm like, that is not the shade of blue that you had. So maybe it even is, and online it looks like it's not. Be. Who knows?
Except I must have been looking at a different picture when I bought it, because I wouldn't have bought it if it looked like that one picture.
That's funny.
Oh, I know. Online color is. I could get into the weeds describing why it's so complicated, but I'm kind of surprised it's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Although, how great that life has opened up and we can support our LNSs.
Go in person. So this next one, this is the next to last. This one is called The Christmas Heart, and the company is Little by Little. From what I understand, this is an older chart also. And I just thought that was so sweet. And I'm almost done with this one. Just changed some of the colors slightly. Most of the changes I made, I'm happy with. There's a couple things I'm like, not
I like
it,
it,
but yeah. So, and then this linen is a dream. It's just a little bit of a challenge, but it's lovely.
You love it
in your hand, yeah. Oh, and here I'll show one floss ring that I brushed.
So pretty. These flosses are just gorgeous.
And then these 2 last ones that I showed are basically using the same thread. So I'm keeping them together. And
so pretty.
All right, and then lastly but not least, it was I again finally got one that I've had my eye on for a long time, and this is by Hands Across the Sea, aka Hats, also, and this is called and there's a couple others from them that I will end up getting at some point. Like the one that's the Scot, I think it's called the Scot, or the Scotsman. Oh my God. I'm crazy for that one. Anyway, this one is called The Alexanders of Lintrathen. Lintrathen. I always want to put an extra TH in there. and this is not a super great, I got this online, so this is my own printout, so it doesn't look super good. But it's extremely colorful and has a couple crazy people at the bottom, which I like. And I just started this week. And this is my start on that.
Love it.
So, and then this linen, I finally was like, you know, let me just try a plain color and I'll over dye it and see if I like over dyeing things myself. But then this ended up matching the photo exactly.
Yeah, it really does.
So then I'm like, you know, it's so busy. You're not going to really be able to tell.
It's okay to have just a solid, yeah, right. You're not even going to know.
So at least that was my logic.
I think it's a perfect match for this.
And then, you know, my thing that I tease myself about is that, you know, I was really more of a quilter, you know, in my adulthood, and decided that I love samplers so much I wanted to decorate my house with some samplers. And so I was intending to have a really muted, like, so they would look antique. And then ironically, I have shifted into all these projects that have incredibly vivid colors. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to put them in my house.
It's still primitive, but not antique. Well, right, you know, with the bright colors. I love them. I think you have a great mix of, you know, the more antique looking.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, for me, it's more fun to stitch with bright colors for sure. But yeah. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them when I'm finished.
You could gift them. Or, yeah. Or it could go in under the bed box, right?
Yeah. Let me show these real quick.
Yeah. Too. Yeah.
Yeah, under the bed box. No. It's so much work. I jumped on the bandwagon with a lot of people with this Book of Days. It's just a calendar, but it has, you know, design, the cover and the motifs inside it are going to appeal to stitchers. And this is just a way to keep track of what you're working on a daily basis. And so, you know, I started out real strong in January and gradually fell off. And
you're just like me.
Yeah, I'm just like a human.
Yes.
This is my May so far, even though I've stitched almost everything. But yeah, you know, life happens and you have some emergencies. And
now, how did you hear about this? Because I had not heard of this one. Did you hear of it on FlossTube?
Oh yeah,
or
FlossTube.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And probably, you know, my favorite buddies that I've never met are Brenda and the Serial Starter, Brenda and Laura, and they, you know, showed this one time, and so I was like, yeah, that would be handy because I can't remember if that's.
And it's so cute. I've never seen a calendar done quite that cute in a book.
I know.
You know?
Real handy. And then the other thing that I wanted to show today, even though we agreed we're not doing haul because we had so many whips, but excuse me. This one is called Samplerstitching Notebook, and basically
by Artist Designs.
Thank you. It's a way to track your projects, and it is a beautiful cover, which I really enjoy just by itself. But then internally, there's many blank pages of this where, you know, she kind of gives you a framework of the different aspects of a job, like what linen you're using and how big it is and when you started it, and, you know, notes. You could put a photo in here. It's the kind of thing like Jen Lee's system.
I'll probably show that next episode.
It's the kind of thing that I would design, but I didn't design it. Somebody else did it. But, you know, it really appeals to me in terms of being able to keep track of all the details of your work in one place.
She did a good job. And nice. I love that it's in book form, and I love it's the 8.5 by 11. Sometimes you get the little ones or whatever. I love it's big enough to have a photo and, you know, lots of room to write. So this one, I'm going to be actually probably, I might look into both of those. Yeah. So you inspired me. I hadn't seen those. So FlossTube, we have loved coming to you today and updating, other than our technical difficulties, which hopefully our master editor will edit out beautifully. And we're so glad to be back, and we will see you next time.